That moment right there where Hailey Bieber confidently shuts down any overlap with Selena Gomez now feels like the setup to one of the weirdest karma stories fans have seen in a while, because the same situation she once had to explain might be circling right back. And the part that's really making this messy? What Justin actually said when he contacted Selena. Because if that detail checks out, it changes how everyone sees this situation. Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber's relationship lasted 8 years, from 2010 to 2018. They were introduced by their managers in 2009, and soon enough, they found love for one another. What followed was one of the most watched, most obsessed over celebrity romances in modern history. A pairing that essentially grew up in front of the world. They were teenagers when it started, barely out of their childhood years, and the internet claimed them as its own love story. During those years, they had an on and off relationship for 8 years. There were breakups, there were reconciliations, there were tearful interviews and coded song lyrics and paparazzi photos that became front-page news. Every move either of them made was dissected by millions of people who had decided, long before either Justin or Selena could fully understand themselves, that these two were meant to be together forever. By 2018, they decided to part ways forever. But what made the breakup land like a shockwave across pop culture wasn't just that it ended, it was what happened next. Justin and Selena had a nearly decade-long epic on and off romance before they broke up for good, and Justin got engaged to Hailey months later. Justin popped the question while he and Hailey were vacationing in the Bahamas. Nobody saw it coming, least of all the millions of fans who had grown up watching Jelena unfold in real time. The daughter of actor Stephen Baldwin, Hailey Bieber was just 12 when she met Justin, the somewhat awkward moment when Dad introduced her to the pop star, ahead of his 2009 Today Show appearance enshrined on film. There's a clip of it. A preteen Hailey, visibly nervous, shaking hands with a boy she'd one day call her husband. At that point, Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber were about to become inseparable, and Hailey Baldwin was a name nobody knew. She existed at the very edges of Justin's world, a footnote in an origin story that had nothing to do with her yet. Though they first met in 2009, Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez were first rumored to be dating in 2011 and had an on and off relationship for 8 years, initially breaking up in 2014. The sorry singer and only murders in the building actress rekindled their romance for the last time in late 2017, but called it quits for good in early 2018. And then, in an astonishingly compressed timeline, everything shifted. Justin and Hailey got engaged reportedly just a few months after Justin and Selena split for the last time. The speed of it made jaws drop. For the public, it didn't feel like a new chapter, it felt like a betrayal of the old one. Their final breakup had left many fans disheartened, but when Justin announced his relationship with Hailey Road and married her, the fans were even more furious. The narrative had been set in stone. Justin belonged with Selena. Anyone who came after her was, in the court of public opinion, an intruder. While it may have appeared rushed, Hailey revealed in a 2020 interview with Ashley Graham that they had been talking for a while before we got back together. He had been single for a while and she had been single, and they were kind of just trying to figure life out. But nuance doesn't travel well on the internet. The perception had already calcified. People had decided what happened and why, and no interview or Instagram post was going to change it. Justin and Hailey tied the knot in a civil ceremony at a New York City courthouse and had a formal ceremony with friends and family about a year later. The 2019 wedding was held at Montage Palmetto Bluff in South Carolina. By all accounts, these were two people who chose each other deliberately, but what was supposed to be the beginning of their love story was immediately overshadowed by the ending of another one. The comparisons began on day one and they never stopped. Ever since the engagement, Hailey's had to deal with relentless online bullying. Not just whispers, not just jokes, full-scale coordinated harassment from people who believed that Justin's heart still belonged to Selena Gomez and that Hailey was merely a placeholder. That was the environment she stepped into when she said, "I do." And it is an environment that years later has not meaningfully changed. Hailey Bieber, who is the daughter of actor Stephen Baldwin, has admitted in the past that she had ended up in a really dark place because of targeted social media attacks from Justin and Selena fans. It wasn't abstract hate. It was personal, specific, and relentless. Every photo she posted was scrutinized for hidden messages about Selena. Every outfit, every caption, on any post was treated as evidence, in a case the internet was building against her. During an appearance on Alex Cooper's Call Her Daddy podcast in 2022, Hailey was questioned over whether she or her husband had ever asked Gomez to ask her fans to stop attacking her. She said they had not, explaining, "What I will say is that she has been in this industry much longer than I have, and maybe there's something she knows about, like, it wouldn't fix anything." That answer carried the resignation of someone who had already accepted the verdict. It wasn't anger, it was exhaustion. And yet, despite all the public declarations of peace, despite the photo ops and the Instagram likes and the carefully worded statements, the triangle kept pulling all three of them back in. Hailey and Selena have publicly declared that they're cool now, but there's a new feud rumor about these two, like every 5 minutes. It really seems like the online Justin-Selena-Hailey chaos will never end. Hailey told host Alex Cooper, "I can say period point blank, I was never with him when he was in a relationship with anybody. That's the end of it." She was firm, she was definitive. She drew the line in the most unambiguous terms possible. Hailey also revealed that she and Selena had spoken since the wedding. "It's all respect, it's all love," she claimed. But the internet doesn't work on respect. It works on narrative. And the narrative was already built, brick by brick, theory by theory, screenshot by screenshot. In this story, Hailey was the villain, Selena was the victim, and Justin was the prize caught between them. That framework has survived every denial, every reconciliation attempt, every public showing of goodwill. And the reason it has survived is because there have been enough breadcrumbs, real or imagined, to keep it alive. A liked TikTok here, a cryptic Instagram caption there, a song lyric that could be about anyone but is almost certainly about someone specific. The drama has become its own self-sustaining organism, feeding on ambiguity and thriving in the space between what these three people say publicly and what people believe is happening privately. A source told us weekly in April 2023 that Justin Bieber was heartbroken over the response to Hailey Bieber after her reported drama with Selena Gomez. It breaks Justin's heart to have seen Hailey struggling emotionally the way she has been these past few months. The insider said that heartbreak, whether it was genuine or performative, was filtered through a media machine that had already decided Justin's emotions regarding Selena were the more interesting story. In a series of Instagram stories in April 2023, Hailey Bieber revealed that she experienced some of her saddest, hardest moments of her life in 2023, following her drama with Selena Gomez. "I like to make jokes about how I feel because sometimes it's easier than admitting I'm having a hard time." That admission, raw and unguarded, offered a glimpse into the toll that being the designated villain of the internet's most persistent love triangle takes on a person. Hailey Bieber thanked Selena Gomez for defending her in an Instagram story in March 2023. "I want to thank Selena for speaking out, as her and I have been discussing the last few weeks how to move past this ongoing narrative between her and I," Hailey wrote. "The last few weeks have been very hard for everyone involved, and millions of people are seeing so much hate around this, which is extremely harmful." She continued, "Things can always be taken out of context or construed differently than they were intended. We all need to be more thoughtful about what we post and what we say, including myself. In the end, I believe love will always be bigger than hate and negativity. And there's always an opportunity to meet each other with more empathy and compassion." Those words read like a treaty, a formal cessation of hostilities between two women who had been pitted against each other by a world they didn't ask to be at the center of. But treaties mean nothing if the war continues elsewhere. And in this particular war, the battlefield wasn't the women, it was the man between them, Justin Bieber. The person whose romantic history created the triangle in the first place remained the gravitational center of all of it. His past with Selena, his present with Hailey, and the persistent, nagging question of whether those two realities could ever fully coexist. That question would become even more pressing when news started surfacing that Justin wasn't just a passive participant in this drama, that he might in fact be actively keeping it alive. In September 2022, Hailey squarely addressed all the rumors and confusion about the timeline of her and Justin's relationship during an interview with Alex Cooper. on the Call Her Daddy podcast. "This is so crazy, I've literally never talked about this ever." Hailey said of the claims she dated Justin while he was still romancing Selena. "The fact that she had to address it at all years into her marriage tells you everything about how deeply embedded the love triangle narrative had become. After all, she has openly supported the Rare Beauty founder over the years, including double tapping on Selena's engagement announcement with Benny Blanco on Instagram in December." Hailey told Bloomberg's The Circuit in June 2023, "I want to bring people together, and I think that that was a really important moment. For people to see that you can do that and you can bring people together, and it doesn't have to be about this divisive nature. The thing is, you can want peace all you want. You can make public declarations and post supportive comments and go on podcasts explaining yourself. But if the person you married keeps pulling the threads of the past, all of that work unravels, and that is precisely where this story turns." Justin Bieber got real about his marriage during a May 2022 appearance on The Ebro Show. He said, "I remember when I first got married. I hit a little bit of an emotional breakdown because I thought marriage was going to fix all my problems, and it didn't." That's a revealing statement from a man who proposed to Hailey within months of ending things with Selena. It suggests a pattern, a tendency to reach for the next relationship as a solution, rather than addressing the underlying wounds. He continued, "It's hard sometimes to look in the mirror and really have to realize, man, maybe you're not the person that you necessarily thought that you were, and, that's just the result of trauma and life circumstances." Trauma and life circumstances. That's a broad phrase. That could encompass a lot of things: fame at 14, substance abuse, a toxic public relationship, the pressure of being the world's most famous pop star before you're old enough to vote. But it also encompasses the specific reality of being a man who married one woman, while the world told him he belonged with another. And regardless of what Justin believes in his heart, the court of public opinion never granted him a clean break from Selena Gomez. That fact has shaped his marriage, his wife's mental health, and his own sense of identity in ways that are still unfolding. By 2024, Justin and Hailey had settled into what looked, from the outside, like stability. Hailey and Justin welcomed their son, Jack Blues, and shared the news on August 23, 2024, with Justin posting a heartwarming close-up of their newborn's tiny foot on Instagram. The arrival of a child should have been the final chapter, the moment when the love triangle narrative lost its relevance, but parenthood, it turned out, brought its own pressures. And those pressures collided with an already volatile set of circumstances that would soon push Hailey to a place she hadn't been before. The birth of Jack Blues was supposed to solidify the Bieber marriage. Instead, it exposed fault lines that had been present from the very beginning. And at the center of those fault lines sat a name that Hailey had been living with for nearly a decade: Selena Gomez. When the news broke that Justin Bieber had been allegedly contacting Selena Gomez behind Hailey's back, the reaction online was predictably volcanic. But to understand how that volcano was built, you have to understand the person standing on top of it. Justin Bieber's emotional landscape has been mapped by the public since he was a teenager discovered on YouTube, and every contour of that landscape has been shaped by forces most people never have to deal with. Pop and R&B singer Justin Bieber is known for the hit songs Despacito, Stay, and Baby. Born and raised in a small Canadian town, Bieber skyrocketed to fame as a teenager, after being discovered on YouTube in 2008. Now a best-selling singer with 2 Grammys, Bieber is the youngest artist to have 7 albums reach the top spot on the Billboard Hot 200. These are the headlines, the biography, the Wikipedia version. Behind those statistics is a person who grew up in a fishbowl, where every mistake was broadcast and every vulnerability was cataloged. In January 2014, Bieber was arrested for suspicion of drag racing and driving under the influence. The charges were eventually reduced to resisting arrest. In February 2019, it was reported that he was being treated for depression. In a January 2020 Instagram post, Bieber revealed that he had recently battled mononucleosis and been diagnosed with Lyme disease. Add to that Ramsay Hunt syndrome, substance abuse issues, and the accumulated weight of being the most scrutinized pop star on the planet, and you begin to see the outline of a man who has been constantly struggling to keep his head above water. I'm committed to getting better and committed to doing whatever I have to do, whether it's inconvenient or not, because I know ultimately it's not only for me. The Ontario native, who's been candid about past drug use and mental health struggles, said in 2020's Justin Bieber sessions, "Being the best me is gonna help me be the best husband, the best father, the best friend that I can possibly be. That aspiration to be the best version of himself for the people he loves is admirable. But aspirations and execution are different things. Meanwhile, Hailey had told Vogue in 2019 that they were going to counseling and fighting to do this the right way to build a healthy relationship. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say it's all a magical fantasy, the now 29-year-old said. From the very beginning, Hailey was the one acknowledging publicly that their marriage required work. She wasn't pretending, she wasn't performing perfection. She was saying plainly that this thing they had built was beautiful but fragile and needed constant tending. But what happens when one person is tending the garden while the other is reaching for flowers that belong to somebody else's past? That's the question that has haunted this marriage from the beginning. And it's the question that recent events have forced into the harshest possible light. Though Justin and Gomez exhibited some of the biggest red flags in a Hollywood relationship, they dated on and off from 2010 until 2018. The same year he married Hailey, and there's been plenty of speculation he may not be fully over his ex. There are countless instances of Gomez being dragged into the Biebers' romance, including a source telling people around a month after Justin and Hailey's wedding, Justin is not over Selena. That claim, made just weeks after the man stood at an altar and committed to another woman, is devastating in its implications. Whether it was true or not, the fact that it was published and believed by millions of people created a shadow that has hung over Hailey's marriage from the very first day. She walked into a union where the public consensus was that her husband's heart was elsewhere. The chatters only continued since then, and Justin supposedly wasn't thrilled when Gomez announced her engagement to Benny Blanco in 2024. When he heard that Selena was engaged, he'll even admit it stung for a brief second, an insider told Daily Mail, but claimed Justin and Gomez would never get back together. A brief second. An interesting choice of words for a man who's been married for 6 years and has a baby. Even a brief second of sting raises the question, why would it sting at all? Justin was then accused of referring to his ex when he posted a The Lord of the Rings meme on his Instagram story, showing Gollum holding a ring, shortly after Gomez showed her engagement jewelry online. Whether that post was intentional or coincidental, the timing was impossible to ignore. And in the world of celebrity social media, timing is never coincidental, at least not in the eyes of millions of followers who have spent years decoding every post for hidden meaning. Imagine being Hailey Bieber in that moment. Your husband, the father of your child, posts something that the entire internet interprets as a reaction to his ex-girlfriend getting engaged. Whether he meant it or not is almost irrelevant. The damage is done the moment the screenshot goes viral. And viral it went, spawning thousands of comments, tweets, and videos, all of them circling the same familiar territory. Justin still has feelings for Selena. That's the kind of moment that chips away at a person. Not one big dramatic blow-up, but a slow, steady erosion of certainty. The kind of thing that makes you wonder, even when you know better, whether the person lying next to you is truly present or whether part of them is somewhere else entirely. According to sources, Justin enjoys stirring up tension between his ex, Selena, and his current wife, Hailey. The insider revealed that he deliberately picks certain occasions to create conflict, seeing it as a way to demonstrate his wife's love. For instance, when Selena married Benny Blanco last month, Justin shared the song he wrote for Hailey's wedding on the same day, which was seen as a deliberate act to cause disruption. If this report is accurate, it paints a disturbing picture, not of a man caught between two women, but of a man who actively cultivates the tension between them for his own purposes. Despite Gomez's attempts to close this painful chapter, new reports suggest that Justin encourages Hailey's involvement in the long-running feud. While the singer's ex and his wife continue to make headlines for their tension, insiders claim that Justin actually sees the rivalry as proof of Hailey's loyalty to him. Loyalty. That's the word the source used. In Justin's mind, according to this account, the fact that Hailey defends him against Selena, even when it costs her peace, her public image, and her mental health, is proof that she loves him. Speaking to the Daily Mail, the insider shared, Justin trusts Hailey to say what she wants to say, and if she gets them into some drama, he's going to ride or die with her, whether it is about Selena or not. The same source claimed that the couple want to continue to fan the flames, while Gomez wants to take the high road. That framing of Justin as someone who orchestrates conflict to test and prove his wife's devotion transforms the love triangle from a romantic tragedy into something altogether more manipulative. It suggests that the drama isn't accidental. It isn't the natural byproduct of overlapping histories. It is, at least in part, engineered. And if Justin is reaching out to Selena behind Hailey's back, as reports have suggested, then the engineering becomes even more calculated. You can't publicly post wedding songs on the day your ex gets married and then claim innocence. You can't have your wife defending you to the world while you're privately maintaining connections with the person she's defending you against. Those two things cannot coexist without one of them being a lie. This is the paradox at the center of the Bieber marriage. A man who publicly declares his love for his wife, while allegedly maintaining a connection to his ex that he knows will cause his wife pain if it comes to light. And it's in this paradox that the breaking point Hailey reportedly experienced begins to make sense. Hailey once recalled, "I remember I called my mom a few different times. One particular time when we were in Brooklyn, and I was calling her, crying, and I was like, I just can't do it. There's no way that I'm going to be able to do this if it's going to be like this forever." And I just remember she was so calm on the phone and she was like, "It's going to pass, you're going to be fine, and he's going to be healthy, and we're here for you." That was before the baby, before the wedding songs on Selena's wedding day, before the Gollum memes, before the reports of behind-the-scenes contact. She added, "But I also just think I was in it. I made a decision. I know for a fact that I've loved this person for a very long time, and now would not be the time to give up on him. I just wouldn't do that to him." At the time, Hailey broke down her decision to fight for a future with Justin. That determination, fierce, stubborn, grounded in love, is what has kept this marriage alive through everything the world has thrown at it. But determination has a limit, and every new revelation about Justin's behavior pushes that limit a little closer. The question isn't whether Hailey loves Justin. She clearly does, and has proven it in ways that most people never have to. The question is whether love alone is enough to sustain a marriage. When the person you love keeps pulling you into a fight you never asked for, and keeps reaching for the very person the fight is about. It seems all is not well between Hollywood's much-loved couple, Hailey and Justin Bieber. According to recent reports by RadarOnline.com, Hailey is tired of Justin's unpredictable behavior. While divorce rumors are already flying, sources claim that their current situation is more complicated than people think. As per insiders, the couple is in a bad place emotionally. The stress of becoming new parents to their baby boy, Jack, who is just 8 months old, has reportedly added tension to their bond. Along with that, assets worth $350 million have also become a reason why divorce isn't happening yet. The presence of that financial detail in the same paragraph as their emotional struggles is a bleak reminder that celebrity marriages exist within systems that go far beyond love. Systems of shared wealth, public image, brand partnerships, and mutual financial dependencies that make walking away immensely complicated. Even Justin addressed his emotional state through an Instagram post. He wrote, "I hate myself sometimes when I feel myself start to become inauthentic," and also admitted that he has been facing anger issues. Inauthenticity and anger, two words that suggest a man who knows he's not being the person he wants to be, but can't figure out how to close the gap between intention and action. And in that gap, the people around him, especially the woman who chose to build a life with him, absorbed the consequences. Throughout 2024 and 2025, Justin Bieber's name hit the headlines for the wrong reasons. The star exhibited odd behavior, including making hand gestures and rapping vulgar lyrics during a May 2025 livestream. And Hailey Bieber's reportedly worried these weren't isolated incidents. They were part of a broader pattern of erratic behavior that had sources close to the couple describing their marriage in terms that no one wants to hear about the person they love. Hailey's been struggling with Justin almost since the start of the marriage. She loves him madly, but he's a loose cannon. A Daily Mail source claimed, purporting her friends had urged her to walk away. His behavior is sometimes unacceptable. She's put up with a lot, they added. A loose cannon. Unacceptable behavior. She's put up with a lot. These aren't the descriptions of a thriving partnership. These are the observations of people watching someone endure a situation that looks untenable. And yet Hailey stays. Not because she doesn't see the problems, but because she made a decision years ago that she would fight for this marriage no matter what it cost her. Justin seemed to hint at trouble in paradise, raising eyebrows in June 2025. When he shared a series of close-up black and white photos of himself on Instagram, with the caption, "Tired of transactional relationships. If I have to do something to be loved." "That's not love." That caption sent the internet into overdrive. The sorry singer didn't confirm exactly what his post was about, but fans made their own assumptions. One shared the upload on X and wrote, "Justin Bieber never beating the 'he hates Hailey, he's in an unhappy marriage' allegations." Whether Justin was talking about his marriage, his industry relationships, or something else entirely is unknowable. But when a married man with a baby posts about transactional relationships and conditional love, the public is going to connect those dots to the most obvious source of tension in his life. And the most obvious source of tension in Justin Bieber's life has always been the same thing: the unresolved legacy of Selena Gomez. That legacy doesn't just live in Justin's head. It lives in the headlines, in the comment sections, in the DMs, and allegedly in the private communications between a married man and his ex-girlfriend that his wife reportedly knew nothing about. To understand why the reports of Justin contacting Selena carry the weight they do, you have to understand the Benny Blanco factor. Because this story isn't just about a man reaching out to his ex, it's about a man reaching out to his ex, who is now married to his former close friend. A friend who by all accounts chose Selena over him. The relationship between Justin Bieber and Benny Blanco goes way back. In fact, the two famously met in 2009, a year before Bieber began dating Selena Gomez, and collaborated on many songs together throughout the time Bieber and Gomez were dating, and even after they broke up. This wasn't a casual acquaintanceship. This was a deep creative and personal bond that produced some of Justin's most significant work. Over the years, they teamed up on a bunch of Bieber's biggest tracks: Eeny Meeny and Somebody to Love in 2010, Love Yourself in 2015, Cold Water in 2016, and Lonely in 2020, where Blanco actually got artist credit, not just a behind-the-scenes nod. That's more than a decade of creative partnership. That's a friendship built on shared artistry, mutual respect, and the kind of trust that comes from making things together. Beyond the music, the two were constantly hyping each other up. In a Zach Sang interview, Blanco once said that Justin was different from cookie-cutter pop artists because he's always been open about his struggles. Those are the words of someone who genuinely admired and cared about Justin Bieber. Not just as a collaborator, but as a person. The respect was real, and the friendship appeared rock solid. Then Selena Gomez entered the picture. Not as Justin's girlfriend, she had been that for years while Benny and Justin worked together, but as Benny's girlfriend. Although Selena and Benny have been friends and collaborators for years, they did not start dating until summer 2023. They went public with their relationship that December, and when they did, the entire dynamic shifted in ways that would have been difficult to predict. Blanco, however, seems to have picked the girl, as his relationship with Bieber is said to have deteriorated the moment he started dating Gomez. An insider even shared with In Touch Weekly that Bieber was offended after Blanco distanced himself when he started his relationship with Gomez. Justin is pretty offended by the fact that Benny totally cut him out of his life when he got together with Selena. They used to be great friends, so it came as a huge shock, the source revealed. Justin is pretty offended by the fact that Benny totally cut him out of his life when he got together with Selena, says the source. They used to be great friends, so it came as a huge shock, especially since Justin would love nothing more than to put all the bad blood with Selena behind him. That last part is crucial. According to this account, Justin didn't want war. He wanted resolution. He wanted to close the chapter cleanly and move on with everyone's dignity intact. But according to In Touch Weekly, Bieber attempted to be the bigger person and make peace not just with Blanco, but with Gomez. It was, however, not to be, particularly as Bieber finds it so annoying that they always seem to be taking these passive-aggressive shots at him on social media. From Justin's perspective, or at least the perspective of the sources speaking on his behalf, he was the one extending olive branches that kept getting thrown back in his face. Justin has tried so many times to make peace with them and get past the BS, but they just won't let it go. And he's now saying good riddance, says the source. He thinks they're lame and immature, and he's not going to bother trying to be friendly anymore. Good riddance. Lame and immature. Those words carry the bitterness of someone who feels rejected, not once but repeatedly, by an ex who won't let him make amends, and by a friend who chose that ex over him. According to multiple eagle-eyed fan accounts, Justin Bieber did a major Instagram purge, unfollowing some big names, including Drake, The Weeknd, and, most notably, Benny Blanco. By the time you read this story, you probably already know Benny isn't just any celeb. He's Selena Gomez's fiancé, which makes this whole situation extra spicy. There is no word from Justin about the unfollow spree, but it's hard not to side-eye the timing, especially given that his once solid friendship with Benny seems to be, well, less than solid these days. An Instagram unfollow might seem trivial in the grand scheme of things, but in the world of celebrity relationships, where every social media action is dissected for meaning, unfollowing your ex-girlfriend's fiancé, who also happens to be your former best friend, is a seismic event. It's a public declaration that whatever remained of that friendship is now officially dead. According to the same source, Justin feels like he's constantly on the receiving end of passive-aggressive social media shade from the pair. And what really bugs him, he thinks they never get called out for it. He's sure that if he was pulling stunts and going online attention-seeking, he'd get slammed for it. But somehow Selena and Benny seem to get away with it. The insider added, that perception of a double standard where Justin is held accountable, while Selena and Benny operate with impunity, has clearly been festering for a long time. Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco married on September 27, 2025. That wedding was supposed to mark the definitive end of the Jelena era. Selena had found her person. Justin had his wife and his child. Everyone had moved on, or so it seemed. When Selena married Benny Blanco, Justin shared the song he wrote for Hailey's wedding on the same day, which was seen as a deliberate act to cause disruption. The timing was impossible to write off as coincidence. On the day your ex-girlfriend marries your former friend, you choose to post the song you wrote for your own wife's wedding? That's either a spectacularly tone-deaf coincidence or a calculated move designed to insert yourself into a moment that has nothing to do with you. The couple finds Justin's drama very exhausting and wants to be away from the Biebers. Selena had attempted not to notice the issue, but Hailey's words refocused her attention, and Benny is believed to be highly protective. According to reports, the pair feels that Justin intentionally uses these occasions to influence and generate public attention, leaving them frustrated by the recurring incidents. The Selena and Benny side of this equation paints a picture of two people who want nothing more than to be left alone, who have tried repeatedly to put distance between themselves and the Bieber orbit, only to find themselves dragged back in by a combination of public fascination and Justin's alleged provocations. While Justin Bieber and Hailey appear comfortable with the ongoing public chatter, the Wizards of Waverly Place star is reportedly determined to move forward with her life. Gomez, who is now married to producer Benny Blanco, is said to be focusing on her marriage and happiness. Selena's main goal is now not to worry about Hailey and Justin ever again. The insider told the outlet, "They are never going to be friends, and it would be great if they don't keep having to talk about each other. They are never going to be friends." That sentence carries finality. It acknowledges something that years of photo ops and Instagram likes tried to obscure. These people are not friends. They are not going to be friends. And any pretense to the contrary has been a performance, a carefully staged détente that never reflected the underlying reality. But if that's the case, then why would Justin be reaching out to Selena behind Hailey's back? If the bridges have been burned from both sides, what possible reason could there be for secret communication? That question leads us to the heart of this entire saga. The answer, according to those close to the situation, lies in Justin's inability to fully close the Selena chapter. Not because he wants to be with her. All reports indicate he does not, but because the existence of that chapter, unresolved and unreconciled, represents a wound that refuses to heal. He tried to make peace. He was rebuffed. And now, the woman he loved for a decade is married to his former best friend, living a life that is visibly, publicly, defiantly happy. For someone struggling with the issues Justin has been open about, depression, anger, inauthenticity, the lingering effects of childhood fame, that kind of unresolved emotional business doesn't just sit quietly. It festers. It finds ways to express itself through cryptic Instagram posts, through coincidental social media activity, and allegedly through private communications that his wife knows nothing about. And when those communications come to light, or when the accumulation of circumstantial evidence becomes impossible to ignore, the person who pays the highest price isn't Justin. It isn't Selena. It's Hailey, the woman who chose to stand beside him despite everything, who has absorbed years of public hatred on his behalf, and who now faces the possibility that her loyalty has been repaid with deception. Hailey's career has been thriving in 2025, as she sold her beauty brand Rhode for a staggering $1 billion, and landed her first solo Vogue cover in June, not to mention the joys of being a first-time mother to baby Jack Blues Bieber. That's a remarkable trajectory for a woman who has spent most of her public life being defined by the man she married. And the woman he used to date, road success in particular, represents something that belongs entirely to Hailey, a creative and entrepreneurial achievement that has nothing to do with Justin or Selena. Unfortunately though, family issues have clouded her success, added the source. The insider claimed, Justin's been a hard person to deal with recently because of what he's going through. Hailey is the stable parent and the one keeping their family together. It's been really hard on her. 5 words that summarize years of accumulated strain: the online bullying, the love triangle narratives, the erratic behavior from her husband, the rumors of secret contact with his ex, the financial complexity of their shared life, the pressure of being a new mother while simultaneously being the stabilizing force in a marriage that keeps threatening to come apart. All of it landing on the shoulders of one 29-year-old woman, who a decade ago was just a nervous kid shaking a pop star's hand backstage at the Today Show. Hailey said, "It's always annoying being pitted against other people. I didn't ask for that." Her comments quickly went viral, leading many to accuse her of shading Gomez again. Sources later confirmed that no matter what Hailey says, the recent shade toward Gomez was exactly that, and the fans called it out. This is the trap Hailey exists in. Everything she says is interpreted through the lens of the Selena rivalry. She can't talk about her career without it being read as a dig at Rare Beauty. She can't express frustration without it being coded as an attack on Gomez. She exists in a permanent state of being defined by someone else's story. However, another insider claimed that the women's tension is a professional rivalry rather than personal, explaining that it now has nothing to do with Justin Bieber at all. Despite the ongoing online drama, the same source added that if Hailey and Gomez were to find themselves in the same room, they'd be very nice to each other. Nice to each other in a room, pitted against each other everywhere else. That's the duality these two women have been forced to inhabit, a relationship that functions perfectly fine in private, but becomes a gladiatorial spectacle the moment the public gets involved. And at the center of that spectacle, pulling strings that neither woman asked him to pull, sits Justin Bieber. Hailey said, "I don't feel competitive with people who don't inspire me." Although she did not take anyone's name directly, the internet was sure this was aimed at Selena and Rare Beauty. Whether it was or wasn't is almost beside the point. The interpretation was immediate and unanimous, and it reignited a firestorm that had barely died down from the last one. The beauty brand rivalry between Rhode and Rare Beauty has become a proxy war for the larger Hailey-Selena conflict. Every product launch, every revenue milestone, every celebrity endorsement is treated as a battle in an ongoing war that neither company asked for. Hailey's billion-dollar sale of Rhode to e.l.f. Beauty was reported alongside speculation about her marriage. Selena's success with Rare Beauty was reported alongside the latest Selena-Hailey feud theory. Nothing either of them achieves professionally can exist outside the shadow of this narrative. And behind all of it, behind the beauty brands and the Instagram likes and the coded interview answers, is the persistent, inescapable reality that Justin Bieber, the man who created this triangle, has allegedly never stopped feeding it. Publicly with his social media provocations, and privately, allegedly, through communications with Selena that his wife reportedly never sanctioned. Justin Bieber's Swag album was reportedly to blame for the strain on his marriage to Hailey Bieber. The intense focus and emotional toll of creating new music had put a strain on their marriage. A source close to the couple told Us Weekly. The insider explained that Justin gets completely consumed and shuts everything else out when he's creating new music in the studio. Music has always been Justin's refuge, the place he goes when the world gets too loud. But a refuge that excludes your wife and child isn't a refuge. It's an escape. Justin has felt lost recently, one insider said at the time. His friend group around him has shifted, and he is going through a lot of changes. Navigating fatherhood, trying to put out music, and past trauma surfacing has been a lot for him. They added that Hailey had been the stable parent and the one keeping their family together, stressing, "It's been really hard on her." A second source agreed, telling the publication, "Justin's going through a difficult time, and Hailey is giving him room to get himself back on track. He's doing his best, but it's tough. Giving him room. That's a generous way of describing what, from the outside, looks like one person carrying the entire weight of a family, while the other retreats into their own internal chaos. Hailey's patience has been extraordinary, but patience is not inexhaustible. Fans noticed things going downhill when Justin posted a strange Instagram live video on March 29th. He was seen swaying to music, looking lost and dazed. This made fans uncomfortable, with many commenting that he appeared to be high as a kite. The video went viral, not because it was entertaining, but because it was concerning. Here was one of the biggest pop stars in the world, broadcasting himself in a state that worried the people watching. Hailey, who is busy balancing motherhood and her career, reportedly feels frustrated with Justin. Hailey's tired of it. She doesn't like who Justin's hanging out with in the studio, the source shared. The model apparently feels that Justin would be more focused if he worked from home instead of being around the wrong influence. That frustration isn't about the Selena drama specifically, it's about everything. The erratic behavior, the studio isolation, the people around Justin who may not have his best interests at heart, the constant public scrutiny, the endless cycle of controversy and defense, and controversy again. Hailey has been running on a treadmill for years, and every new incident adds speed to the belt. In May 2025, Justin further concerned fans when he shared an Instagram photo that seemingly showed him using a bong. The following month, he posted a screenshot to Instagram stories of him asking AI, "Has ketamine been used to control people's emotions?" These aren't the actions of a person in a stable, grounded place. These are cries for help, or at least indications of a turbulent inner life, that the public is getting real-time glimpses of through social media posts that seem to bypass whatever filter a person in Justin's position should have. The second source also alleged that the Biebers' marriage has very much been experiencing ups and downs in recent weeks, as Hailey is worried about her husband, as he hasn't been down like this in quite some time. So there's concern. Hasn't been down like this in quite some time. That implies a history of lows, a pattern of descents and recoveries that Hailey has been navigating throughout their marriage. Each time he goes down, she holds things together. Each time he comes back up, they reset and move forward. But each descent gets a little harder to weather. Now add to that the Selena element, the reports of behind-the-back contact, the wedding day social media provocations, the persistent, rumbling suspicion that Justin has never fully let go of his ex. For Hailey, the emotional math is devastating. She's doing all the work of sustaining a marriage and a family, while her husband is allegedly maintaining a connection to the one person who represents the greatest source of insecurity and pain in her life. Sources close to the couple insist that divorce is not on the table, and that Hailey is very loyal to Justin, as the source said. Hailey's very loyal to him. She's not walking away. But she knows something has to change. They added, her focus is raising their son Jack in a stable environment. She's drawn a line around what she's willing to tolerate. She's drawn a line. That's perhaps the most significant statement in this entire saga. A line implies a boundary, a point beyond which loyalty gives way to self-preservation. Hailey has always been the one absorbing the blows, deflecting the criticism, maintaining the public front. But even the most devoted partner has a threshold, and drawing a line suggests she's found hers. The question is, what exists on the other side of that line? What happens when loyalty meets its limit? What happens when the person who has been holding everything together decides she can no longer do it alone? That's the breaking point the reports are describing. Not a dramatic, screen-worthy meltdown, but the quiet, devastating moment when a person realizes that the relationship they've fought so hard to protect may not be fighting for them in return. Justin shouted out his wife and their 19-month-old son, Jack Blues Bieber, from the Coachella stage during the first weekend of the Desert Valley Music Festival, April 11th. With their 8th wedding anniversary on the horizon in September, Justin and Hailey have become the poster couple for what it means to grow together, defying the odds for super famous young couples and proving the skeptics who assumed they wouldn't last quite wrong. When Coachella came around, people saw a side of the Biebers that they had never seen before. Well, not that they did not want to see it, but they ignored it for years. In the videos that were circulating online, people's narrative about Hailey changed when they saw her as a good and supportive wife for Justin, who was the headliner for the festival. When it came to their son, Jack Blues, They saw her as an amazing mother. Coachella 2026 was supposed to be the redemption arc, the moment when the public finally saw the Biebers as they wanted to be seen. Justin Bieber had cozy PDA-filled moments with his wife, Hailey Bieber, during Coachella 2026. The pop star performed both weeks of the popular annual music and arts festival as a headliner. The images of Justin kissing Hailey backstage, the onstage shout-outs to his wife and son, the videos of them being a family, all of it seemed designed to close the book on years of speculation about their marriage. But even Coachella couldn't outrun the Selena machine. A viral social media post claiming Selena Gomez was denied entry and harassed at Coachella while trying to attend Justin Bieber's rehearsal spread rapidly, though it was now widely dismissed as fabricated. There are no official statements from Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber, or Coachella organizers confirming that any such incident occurred. Additionally, no credible news outlets reported the alleged event at the time it was said to have taken place. The post was quickly debunked as a hoax, with no evidence that Gomez was actually at Coachella or had any involvement with Bieber's performance. The controversy highlighted how quickly unverified social media posts can spread, and the ongoing public interest in the relationship between Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber, even years after their high-profile romance. Even when the drama is fake, it spreads because the appetite for it is real. The public wants Justin and Selena to still be a story, and as long as that appetite exists, every genuine interaction between them, however innocent, becomes amplified beyond all proportion. At this stage, there is no concrete evidence that Selena Gomez attended Justin Bieber's Coachella 2026 performance. What remains is a blurry image and a wave of online speculation. The claim appears to have originated from a fan-run account, likely created to fuel speculation and drive engagement through unverified rumors. After a shift in public opinion at Coachella, Hailey Bieber shuts down the sudden calls for apologies from her critics. The model and businesswoman slammed online critics for wanting to suddenly apologize to her, after they deemed her a villain since she got married to Justin Bieber in 2018 at just 21 years old. Hailey took to Instagram on April 23rd and wrote, "All good on apologies, the therapy's already paid for. Save it. The therapy's already paid for." 8 words that contain years of accumulated pain. The bullying, the constant comparisons, the public hatred, the private struggles with her husband's behavior, the Selena shadow that has followed her everywhere, all of it compressed into a single devastating sentence. She's not accepting apologies because the damage is already done. The wounds have already been inflicted. The therapy bills have already been racked up. No amount of belated contrition from the internet is going to undo what they put her through. For years, they even criticized Hailey for stealing Justin from his great love, Selena Gomez. At some point, people couldn't even talk about Hailey without bringing up Gomez, even though they all moved on from it. Except they haven't all moved on. The public certainly hasn't. And the question remains, has Justin? In reality, Hailey was finalizing the sale of Rhode to Elf Beauty in a deal worth $1 billion. And Justin was busy putting the finishing touches on his 7th and 8th studio albums, as well as making other positive changes in his life. A rep for the singer told TMZ in February 2025 that the last 12 months had been very transformative, as he ended several close friendships and business relationships that no longer served him. That's a sanitized way of describing what sounds like a major upheaval in Justin's personal life. When you're cutting people out of your life wholesale, it usually means something significant has shifted. Either your values have changed, or the relationships themselves have become toxic, or both. But here's the thing about cutting people out. The ones who matter most are the ones you don't cut, and the persistent reports that Justin has maintained some form of contact with Selena, even as he's supposedly severing ties with others, suggest that whatever connection exists between them operates on a different level than his other relationships. It's not a friendship he can casually discard. It's a bond that for whatever reason he seems unable or unwilling to completely sever. The Rhode Skin founder has allegedly been very patient with her husband amid his mental health struggles and takes it day by day. There's still work to be done in their marriage, the source clarified, but they're in a much better place. Day by day, that's the language of someone in recovery. And perhaps in a sense, this marriage is in recovery. Recovering from the strain of Justin's creative obsessions. Recovering from the constant public scrutiny. Recovering from the Selena drama that has shadowed them for their entire relationship. Justin sang about their marriage struggles in several songs on his new album, including his hits Daisies and Walking Away. There's a particular kind of vulnerability in putting your marital problems into songs that millions of people will hear. It can be cathartic, or it can be an act of public exposure that the other person in the marriage didn't consent to. For Hailey, hearing her private struggles turned into chart-topping singles must be a complicated experience. Part pride, part exposure, part the realization that nothing in her life is truly private. And it's within that context a marriage under strain, a husband who puts their struggles into public art, a never-ending Selena shadow, and the reports of behind-the-scenes contact, that Hailey's emotional breaking point becomes not just understandable, but inevitable. Something had to give. And according to the reports, something did. Hailey was asked in a May 2025 profile for Vogue about the online chatter, to which she replied, "Well, I thought 7 years in it would have already died down." And it hasn't. She concluded, "You would think after having a child, people would maybe move on, chill out a little bit, but no. 7 years, a marriage, a baby, career milestones, public reconciliation attempts, podcast interviews, Instagram statements, and still, the narrative persists. Still, the first thing people think when they see Hailey Bieber's name is Selena Gomez. After 7 years of fighting for her marriage, 7 years of absorbing the internet's cruelty, 7 years of being defined by a relationship she was never part of. Hailey's frustration is not just understandable, it's remarkable that she's still standing. Hailey hinted at her and Justin's plans to have more kids. I feel much more prepared to have a baby again, as opposed to how not prepared I felt doing it for the first time. She told GQ in November 2025, "Even looking forward to growing her family comes with the implicit acknowledgement that the first time around was overwhelming." She was navigating new motherhood, a strained marriage, relentless public criticism, and the ever-present specter of her husband's ex, all simultaneously. The fact that she wants to do it again suggests either extraordinary optimism or extraordinary love, probably both. So here's where we land. The headline says Hailey Bieber breaks down after Justin contacts Selena behind her back. And the truth is, the full picture is both more complicated and more mundane than a single headline can capture. There is no question that Hailey has endured an extraordinary amount of emotional strain throughout her marriage. Strain that has been documented, quoted, sourced, and analyzed from every conceivable angle. There is also no question that the Selena Gomez factor has been the single most persistent source of that strain. The reports of Justin reaching out to Selena are, at this point, rooted in insider claims and social media analysis. Rather than confirmed communications, nobody has produced a screenshot of a DM. Nobody has leaked an audio recording. What exists instead is a pattern of behavior from Justin that, when assembled piece by piece, tells a story of a man who has never fully made his peace with the biggest relationship of his youth. Sources have claimed that Justin enjoys stirring up tension between his ex, Selena, and his current wife, Hailey. The insider revealed that he deliberately picks certain occasions to create conflict, seeing it as a way to demonstrate his wife's love. For instance, when Selena married Benny Blanco, Justin shared the song he wrote for Hailey's wedding on the same day. Whether enjoys is the right word, or whether it's more accurate to say he can't help himself, is an open question. But the result is the same. Hailey pays the price. Despite the ongoing drama surrounding Gomez, sources insist that Justin and Hailey Bieber's marriage is solid. The couple celebrated their 7th wedding anniversary on September 13th and marked their son Jack Blues' first birthday in August. A few days after their anniversary, a source told People that the pair have had challenges like anyone else, but they always come back to the same thing. They truly believe they are soulmates, soulmates who have endured more public scrutiny, more external pressure, and more they divorce speculation than almost any other celebrity couple in recent memory. The fact that they're still together after everything, the erratic behavior, the Selena drama, the mental health struggles, the studio isolation, the financial complications, speaks to something genuine between them. Whether that genuine thing is love, stubbornness, codependency, or some combination of all three, is something only they can know. With their 8th wedding anniversary on the horizon in September, Justin and Hailey have become the poster couple for what it means to grow together, defying the odds for super famous young couples and proving the skeptics who assumed they wouldn't last quite wrong. They've defied the odds, that's true, but defying the odds doesn't mean the odds weren't against them, and it doesn't mean the damage inflicted along the way was painless. Coming to the question, is the union between Justin and Hailey truly in danger? The available evidence points to the answer, which is likely no, but it's equally clear they're facing serious challenges. That assessment, likely no, but clearly challenged, feels like the most honest summation of where things stand. The Bieber marriage is not falling apart, but it is bearing weight that would crush most relationships. And the Selena factor is a significant portion of that weight. For Hailey, the breaking point isn't necessarily a single event. It's not one text message from Justin to Selena or one social media post on the wrong day. It's the cumulative effect of years of being the person who holds everything together, while the person she's holding together keeps pulling toward the past. That kind of exhaustion doesn't hit all at once. It arrives slowly, then suddenly, a gradual erosion that one day reveals itself as a crack you can't ignore. And that's what the reports describe. Not a dramatic collapse, but a quiet reckoning. A woman who has given everything to her marriage, looking around and realizing that some of the threats to that marriage are coming from inside the house. The Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber triangle will continue to generate headlines for as long as all three of them are public figures. That's not a prediction, it's a statement of fact. The internet has too much invested in this story to let it go, and the principals keep providing just enough material to keep it alive. But beneath the headlines, beneath the insider quotes and the social media analysis and the TikTok theories, are three real people dealing with real consequences. Selena, who wants to move on with her husband and her life. Hailey, who has fought for her marriage at enormous personal cost. And Justin, whose inability to cleanly separate his past from his present has caused pain to both of the women the world insists he has to choose between. Hailey took to Instagram on April 23rd and wrote, "All good on apologies, the therapy's already paid for. Save it." That's the last word, not from the internet, not from the insiders, not from the headlines, but from the woman at the center of all of it. The therapy is paid for, the damage is done, and she's still standing. Whether Justin's alleged contacts with Selena constitute a betrayal or a series of misunderstood interactions is ultimately something only the Biebers can determine. What the rest of us can see from the outside is a woman who has been pushed to her limit and come out the other side with her head held high and her sense of self intact. As Hailey put it to Vogue last year, "I have a real life. My real life is that I get to wake up to my beautiful family and my son and my friends. And I have people that know me and love me and I love them. Real life." That's what Hailey is holding on to. The tangible physical reality of her family, her child, her friendships, her career. Not the internet's version of her life, which is a soap opera she never auditioned for. Not the love triangle narrative, which reduces her to a supporting character in someone else's love story. Her real life. And that real life, despite everything, appears to be continuing. The marriage is ongoing, the baby is growing, the career is flourishing, the therapy is working. The breaking point, if it happened, didn't break her. It bent her, tested her, pushed her to the edge, and then she came back, as she always does, because that is who Hailey Bieber has always been. The person who stays, the person who fights, the person who, no matter what the internet throws at her, refuses to be defined by anyone else's story. Whether Justin Bieber deserves that level of loyalty is a question the internet will debate for another decade. But Hailey has made her choice. And for now, at least that choice is to keep going, one day at a time, with the therapy already paid for and the apologies no longer needed. There's a certain irony in all of this. The same internet that spent years tormenting Hailey Bieber is now, after Coachella, suddenly trying to apologize. They saw the videos of her supporting Justin from the side of the stage. They saw her as a mother, as a partner, as a person perhaps for the first time, and they wanted to make it right. But Hailey's response makes clear, making it right isn't possible retroactively. You can't unsend the hate comments, you can't unmake the memes, you can't unbreak the person you spent years trying to break. What you can do is recognize it, acknowledge it, and do better going forward. And if the internet is finally learning that lesson, maybe the next chapter of this story will be different. But knowing this story, probably not. Because somewhere right now, someone is analyzing a Hailey Bieber Instagram post for hidden messages about Selena Gomez. Somewhere, someone is crafting a theory about what Justin's latest song lyric really means. And somewhere, Hailey is putting her son to bed, ignoring all of it, and reminding herself that the real life, the one that happens when the phone is down and the world is quiet, is the only one that matters. Hailey once said, "I don't like the idea of team this person and team this person. I'm just not about that. I want to bring people together. And I think that that was a really important moment for people to see that you can do that. And you can bring people together, and it doesn't have to be about this divisive nature. That's the vision she had. A world without teams, without sides, without the binary choices the internet loves to impose. A world where two women who share an ex-boyfriend can coexist without being at war. It was a beautiful vision. And in a better world, it would have worked. But this world runs on narratives, and the narrative of the Selena Justin Hailey triangle is too compelling, too addictive, and too profitable for anyone, including, it seems, Justin himself, to let it die. So it lives on, fed by insider quotes and social media breadcrumbs, and the insatiable appetite of an audience that has been watching this story unfold since all three of them were barely out of their teens. The final word belongs to none of them. It belongs to time. Time will tell whether Justin's alleged contacts with Selena were innocent, malicious, or somewhere in between. Time will tell whether Hailey's breaking point was a turning point or just another bend in a road that keeps twisting. And time will tell whether this triangle, the most persistent, most exhausting, most analyzed love triangle in modern pop culture, ever truly comes to an end. Until then, the therapy's paid for, and Hailey Bieber is saving her receipts.